the data not representing the local public visitors point of it's not a local public visitor's point of view, but it's a student and also a visitor point of view. Thus, it is a challenge for the student to empathize both academically and as in public visitor with the site assessment. The reliability of this finding, okay, the data is actually analyzed with quantitative approach using SPSS on frequency analysis to rank the variable by the mean score, which deduce the quality of Kinta River Walk as a successful place. Concerning table 1, SPSS analysis revealed a Cronbach alpha analysis of Kinta River Walk as a successful public space showing high internal reliability for the instrument. The data with descriptive statistics included frequency, distribution, and the result in table 2. Later, I will show you the table 2. Okay, the successful assessment on Kinta River Walk as a public space using the place diagram has good internal consistency with a Cronbach alpha coefficient of 0.838, since the Cronbach alpha coefficient ideally should be above 0.7. From the data presented, the Kinta River Walk can be deduced as a potential public space with some variables shown to be an opportunity to improve the place by the local authority. The place perception also is slightly different between gender. As shown in table 2, students from both gender all agree the user and the activity in the Kinta River Walk are the significant variables that make the place successful, with a mean score of 3.96 for the males and 4.02 for females. Overall, users and activities is the successful variable, followed by accessibility, linkages, sociability, and comfort and images. So if we look at the table 3, for the accessibility and linkages variables, the criteria for high quality public space in the physical dimension include obvious and straightforward access and movement. The assessment shows that the sidewalk lead to and from the adjacent areas, and the place can also be accessed by a variety of transportation options, which are by the mean score 3.94. According to the project for public space in 2000, comfort and image are emphasized in public space, which determine whether facilities in public space such as benches, walkways, lightings, and shadings are attractive to encourage more visitors to visit the public space. Plus, safety and comfort are essential components of public space, impacting public space usage and satisfaction. So looking back at table 3, displays of scenic and visually appealing photographic activities. The inference is deduced from the IMG6, where the mean score is the highest element of the variable. Okay, the question on the questionnaire is on the left side of the slide. Ironically, the image IMG5 is the lowest mean score of all elements that have been assessed. Okay, table 3 also shows the mean score for the users and activities variable. ACT4 indicate that mean of activities found at Kinta River Walk with 5 users of activities. Ramli et al. Also stated that the user impression of public space impacts the use of activities in generating effective places from the public point of view. A wide range of activities occurring in numerous public locations imply that a city should have plenty to offer in terms of spontaneity, vitality, and inventiveness. The place is also have extensively been used by a different range of age. It can be inferred from the ACT2, the variable second highest mean score. For a public area to be thriving, it must be many people in it. People of all ages can watch and participate in numerous activities in public spaces, from youngster to the elderly, regardless of their ability. Despite that, the management present in the lowest mean score of the variable with 3.31, as seen in ACT6. The presence is vital to ensure the visitor securely and safety, because several infrastructure are quite alarming, such as cable stay, bridge, and abandoned mine. The place is perceived unsafe where the security present is low and where the ACT6 also support it. Moving to the sociability variables. Kinta River Walk is a significant and excellent social urban place. It can be referred to the SOC2, where the people are seen actively communicating. Hence, the SOC4 shows that people come to the place in a group with their friend and relative, where the commercial premise may influence the element. According to Red R also, when people interact with others, they feel stronger bond with the society and also the space. The factors can be measured and evaluated by the presence of various social groups, social network, and life in a day. From the finding, the Kinta River Walk need to improve in terms of comfort and image. It is a challenge for the local authority to maintain the place as a strategic and vibrant public space. It may be the facility offered and increasing the public surveillance to ensure the public feels safe day and night. The place is nicely seated in the perimeter of Ipoh urban context and semi-urban neighborhood. It is a flawless transition for people to access for both areas. Neglecting the maintenance of the place could sabotage the other variable of successful public spaces. Using the key intangible attribute of the public place, the place diagram was utilized as tools to assess the quality of the Kinta River Walk as a successful place for public activities based on the respondent point of view. The assessment include evaluating both the physical condition and the user experience of the Kinta River Walk. This study revealed the potential of the public space while focusing on the end user. Based on the findings of the study, we conclude that the Kinta River Walk can be inferred as a potential successful public space by referring to the intangible qualities of the place diagram which address the relation of a people, public space, and its management. A dynamic collaborative effort by all is required to manage existing public space. And finally, this is the list of references related to the study. That's it all. Thank you so much. I will pass back to the moderator to proceed with the next agenda. Thank you.
Right. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Pak Nazrin, for the excellence presentation.
Thank you.
So now we open to the floor. Kalau ada soalan yang ingin diutarakan, silakan. Kita buka soalan ni untuk pembentang-pembentang yang lain pun boleh bertanya soalan kalau
if any.
Cik Nazir dah get ready je nak menjawab.
Okay.
Hantar je macam mana soalan. Sedia ada tepis. Alright. Ada? Alright. Rasanya macam senyap je, macam tak ada. Okay, kalau tak ada, so thank you very much to Nazrin. Alright. Sebabnya kita ada dari segi kita kesedukan masa kan. So once kalau in case kalau ada soalan-soalan boleh ditanyakan terus kepada ataupun WhatsApp terus kepada host dia untuk ditanyakan kepada Muhammad Nazrin. Kalau mungkin sekarang kita tak tahu nak tanya bentuk soalan macam mana, maybe kita nak selepas ni baca, dengar dan maybe ada kita lintas untuk bertanya soalan tersebut boleh dibuat melalui mungkin WhatsApp dan sebagainya. Alright. Thank you very much Muhammad Nazrin. So kita terus lompat kepada Balkis Aminuddin. Dah get ready dah kat situ dah. Dah bersedia. Alright. So kita terus kepada pembentang seterusnya. Balkis Aminuddin akan membentangkan tajuk Tourism and Hospitality dengan tajuknya The City Wetland Lost the Attractiveness of Tourist Destination Facilities to ecotouristic educational experience. 20 minutes untuk Balkis. Boleh mula dari sekarang. Silakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Balkis. I'm from University Putra Malaysia. So my title is about the city wetland loss of attractiveness to tourist destination facilities through ecotouristic educational experience. For the introduction, we look for the overall wetlands. Wetlands are globally important for sustainability developments, which is it has three types, which is tidal, intidal, and man-made. During the pandemic, where wetland is what we call it's developed its own environment without any distracting from the construction. Okay, so maybe the pandemic part is good for the wetland, but in the other things for the tourism, economic, and so on is have lack on that side. Okay, so for the wetland also is become a part of ecotourism. In Malaysia, we have 7 Ramsar sites for the wetland, which is Tasik Bera Pahang, Tanjung Piai Johor, Pulau Kukup Johor, Sungai Pelai Johor, Kuching Wetlands Sarawak, and then Lebah Cemara Batangan Segamat Sabah, and then Kota Kinabalu Wetlands in Sabah. So we also have 3 man-made wetland, which is constructed wetland, which is Paya Indah Wetlands, Putrajaya Wetlands, and Paddy Fields. Okay. Setiu wetland is one of the largest natural wetlands in the East Coast region of Malaysia, which is the size is about 23,000 hectares. Okay, the main focus on my research is more to facilities design in setiu wetland. So the site of my site is at the setiu wetland, which is they have Taman Negeri setiu wetland. They have a broad walk for the setiu wetland. They have the settlement, which is the houses for the village there, and then they have a permanent reserve forest also. They have for the water bodies along the setiu wetland. Okay. So in the setiu wetland, what we look into the literature review, which is the sustainable of tourism destination, which is more focused on social, environment, and economy. And then the main main sector in setiu wetland, they focus with the rural areas. Okay, so for the sustainable tourism destination, they must have for 5 A's, which is the access, accommodation, attraction, activities, and amenities to make it successful for the destination. Okay. So for the wetland environmental education experience in setiu wetland, we have 1 school of setiu wetland, which is wetland school of setiu. Okay, the activities that provide there is more to the treasure for the kepa, for the lokan, and then activities for the trees at the wetlands, what they have for the in Malay, which is called Tanah Poncah. Okay, they have a lot of activities to do there for the students, for the which is outdoor education students. Okay, so for the wetland also, it have tourism facilities challenges, which is the facilities over there not say is not good. There is good, but they have to provide interesting place for to attract more visitors to come. Okay, so for the problem segment that we come up with, which is the loss of attractiveness to tourist destination facilities in setiu wetlands, and then they have a lack of innovative tourism product. So the lack of up to standard facilities, which is the ICT implementation in setiu school in setiu wetland, is still not there. And then the lack of standard clear policies of guideline concerning about the ecotouristic education development at the national level. Okay, so for the research aim, which is to develop a resilience coastal wetland facilities design framework towards an ecotouristic educational experience in setiu wetlands. So the research question will be to identify the gaps for the research objective, to identify the gaps of the physical design, and then to determine the emerging themes from the stakeholder in developing coastal wetland facilities design framework towards the ecotouristic educational experience, and then to develop indicator for resilient facilities design in monitoring and control strategies to the ecotouristic educational experience. So the research question is reflect back to the research objective to how to identify the gaps, and then how to determine the emergent themes from the stakeholder, and then how to develop the indicator for the resilient facilities design. By the research method, from the research question 1, I'm doing for the planning documents, the study site observation, and then in the interview. Also for the second research question, we use the planning document and then case study from the successful coastal wetland for facilities, and then in the interview with the expert. And then for the third one, also come up with the in-depth interview with the expert. So justification for these studies, which is I'm looking to the 11th Malaysian Plan, which is embarking the pursuing the growth and sustainability and resilience. For the 12th Malaysian Plan, we look at the economic empowerment, growth derived for enablers, ecosystem and imperative, environment, sustainability, conservation and preservation, and then social re-engineering, which is enhancing on social capital, is inclusivity and social cohesion. So we're looking also for the justification from the Malaysia MCMC, which is we want to make it digitalized for the tourism sector for the educational level. And then the Stewart Land State Park Management Council also have been highlighted for the vision, which is to become a global exemplar in biodiversity conservation and sustainable ecotourism practice. Also for the objective, we take the advance in education, health, aesthetic value, and public reaction. So for that part, it's justification for the studies, for my studies. And then the National Ecotourism Plan, which is highlighted into the 5 areas: investment, tourism consensus, and then synergy between the ecotourism and conservation, ecotourism marketing, and ecotourism cluster. And then from the district council, also they have some issues and problems that they have been highlighted also. Then we can look at the second last of these issues, which is they highlighted also the lack of tourism facilities in tourism attraction areas. Okay, for the research methodology and summary, for design philosophy, I'm choosing the constructivism, which is using the qualitative approach, inductive. And then the case study is only single case study, and then we choose for the primary data and secondary data. For the primary data, I'm looking for the 3 methods, which is observation, interview, and documentation area. For the secondary data, which is basically that we use for the literature review. So for the observation, I'm looking for the on-site and the field notes, and then video and images. I'm also using for the site analysis and SWOT. For the interview, we choose for the in-depth interview, for the expert interview. So this is the site analysis, which is what we have in the city wetland. This is a part of it, which is they have a Terapuli Heritage Village, Jetty Pelancongan Kampung Mangkut, and then we have Wetland School of Stew, Rumah Tok, Stew Wetland, and then Rumah Botol Ayahu, and Stew Wetland Walk. Okay. This is the on-site observation, which is I'm doing in 8 May 2022, which is this is the how it's look for the wetland school. There is a lag here and there. Okay, but inside the input from the wetland school is much more precious inside there. Okay, so this is Terapuli Village, which is actually a bigger size, but this is a part of it. Okay, and then this is what the wasted open space that they have around the still wetland. Okay, participant observation. I'm looking for the participant observation also, which is I'm using SWOT analysis for them. I'm asking for the strength of and weakness and opportunities for the treat. So mostly of them give the same answer, and the data situation have been calculated based on the observation from 5 participants and the data obtained by in the table 2. Okay, which is there is the strength is wide coastline, and then beach attract tourists, nice beach view, a lot of green views, and then the tourism nature activities, nice view and homestay and resort. And then the weakness part is about accessibility, which is no bus, and then abandoned building also, and lost attraction for the visitor to revisit, which is less information about the landmark and the area, and then the less attraction for the visitor to come, and then there is only one resort, which is Terapuri. And then the opportunities, which is it can become a commercial cluster area, job opportunities, which is they have a lot of activities inside there. So from there, they can come up with the activities that can generate the income. Okay, they can also create a more stalls can be open along the beach, because right now there is no F&B that interesting to go there. Okay, and then the handicraft also they have, and then the for the local economy increase. Okay, and then it seems Okay, for the threat is about the flood and irregular roads. Okay, for the in-depth interview, which is I'm going to meet Mr. Adin, which is the owner of the School of Wetlands, and then he just give a brief explain, which is to highlight what's the potential that they have in the still wetland, which is the involvement from the NGO, okay, and then they have also 20 natural and cultural treasure. And then the local community also can create income from there. And then the handicraft also that they provide there is not only the handicraft that they sell, but they can give the experience to make the craft, the visitors to make their own craft there. Okay, by guideline. Okay, for the data analysis that I collect from that I do for the data collection the process is from the Google Map for the site analysis. On the site observation, I took the images and field note, and then the participant observation, which is using the WhatsApp message, and then the SWOT analysis. And then for the in-depth interview, I interview the owner by recording and then transcribe and by coding. Okay, for the finding of the research, which is I can find out that they have a lot of job opportunities, handcrafts, homestay and resort, and then stall and food beverages. Landscape and infrastructure can be upgraded, and then facilities they can provide for the advanced knowledge right now. Okay, and then the outdoor activities also for the road tours and everything can be more to activities of the tourism. And then for the improvement it's become good for the local community income, and then the tourism attraction, which is 5 A's before, the access, the accommodation, the attractiveness, and so on. And then the environmental protection, and then the facilities physical development, which is come out from the Setu Wetland District. And then there is also for the educational experience that we can include the ICT part. So for the discussion is the ecotouristic experience through the tourism facilities in digital tool, minimizing the adverse impact towards the recycling. However, it hampered thanks to the loss of attractiveness of the coastal wetlands, destination which are caused by negative impact of lack innovative and up to standard facilities tourism product, and therefore the lack of wetland facilities development, controversy escalated by a lack clear policies guideline concerning the event and at the national level, and contributed this line to the numbers of tourists visiting in the wetland. So there is a need to promote the research, formulate the appropriate strategies to support the stakeholders involvement, and including investigation of tourist nature educational experience, existing coastal wetland facilities, and expert view to open the pathway, formulating strategies to improve the tourist experience. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Vasquez, for the very clear, loud and clear presentation. So, kita ada masa beberapa minit lagi, so kita buka pada floor. If any question to ask to Vasquez regarding about her presentation, silakan. Ada soalan? Sebab saya rasa tajuk ni quite interesting, but myself pun belum sampai lagi ke still wetland ni. Saya nampak macam tempat tu macam menarik lah, because Terengganu is one of attraction tempat holiday saya lah. Asyik. Alright, but there is dari presentation Anis tadi saya melihat is very clear in terms of explanation. Cuma saya nak lihat kekerapan. Mungkin soalan ni tak ada connection, but saya nak tanya juga lah tentang kekerapan banjir di tempat still wetland ni dalam berapa kali? Tak, maksudnya dalam setahun sekali ke?
Dia mengikut monsoon for the still wetland side, which is it is also the flood area. And then kalau diikutkan macam bulan 9, 10, 11, 12 tu dia punya monsoon punya ni.
Kan?
So macam bila nak buat aktivitis yang ni pun dalam bulan 3 cantik lah macam tu lah.
Alright. Okay. Okay, ini ada soalan daripada Cik Anas. Dia kata interesting presentation. But the question is, what is the main factor that's contribute to the issue?
The main factor is we want to attract this all over ages to come to look at this wetland. It's not only for the foreigner tourism only, but now we want to attract also for the Malaysian tourism also, which is they come, it's not only for the happy holiday, but they come to learn about the city wetland also.
Right. Means dia belajar 2-in-1 lah sambil dia lancung, but it's a part of education.
Yes.
Especially untuk dia punya kids, kalau ada kids kan.
Yes.
Quite interesting. Alright, saya rasa tak ada soalan lagi dah. Rasa macam lega, dah tak ada soalan ni. Alright, Anis, thank you very much for the best presentation.
Thank you.
Alright. So we go to the next presenter is Siti Nur Hidayatul Ain bin Nasruddin. Ada kat sini? Ada, alright. Okay, dah muncul dah. Alright, Siti Nur Hidayatul akan bercakap dalam konteks field of tourism and hospitality. The title is The Strategic Planning for a Sustainable Wetland Tourism Using Building Information Modeling ataupun BIM. Right? Tanpa melengah masa, dalam masa yang diberi 20 minit daripada sekarang. So, dijemput Siti Nur Hidayatul Ain. Silakan.
Background.
Okey ke tu?
Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, background. I tak dapat tukar.
Apa, tak tukar tak apa. Yang penting present je.
Okay. So, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon ya. Okay. So,
slide dia tak keluar lah.
slide dia tak keluar ya. Okay, I tengah nak share.
Okay. Pergi dekat full screen tu tepi.
Sorry.
Cuma besarkan dia. Full screen dia tadi.
Okay.
Right.
Nampak tak?
Silakan.
Okay.
Nampak. Yes.
Okay. So, okay, sorry for the technical issues. So,
No
my
problem.
okay, so my title is about the strategic planning for sustainable wetland tourism in City Terengganu using building information modeling BIM. Okay. So I'm Siti Noida to meeting my students. So this is my okay. Setiu is the one youngest from its district in Terengganu actually, and uh, involved the marine-based industry, including tourism, and also it was a marine-based industry which is supplies 60% of it for the demand for the national and international usage. Also, wetland should be not develop economy, just not develop for the economy, but also for the first step up for the Terengganu because of its biodiversity conservation. So, during the sustainable tourism industry is critically important, especially during the endemic since early 2020. So for this time, the study should be practical and contribute to the enhancing implementation for the project during for the present and for the future for the sake of the tourism and also for the wetland itself. So when we talk, this is the Setiu district map, which is offers such a beautiful, memorable memories who going to visit this area. So to sustain and maintain this area, just not focus on the the tourism management only, but it also have to be in a global views, in a overviews of master planning in terms to planning the future or present development in situ. So by using the beam, actually, is some method and also the tools, advanced tool nowadays, it can be integrated for the overall management in the tourism sectors, including the government and public sectors, and also the private sectors. So from the main for the main master planning, the government or the district can control or coordinate whatever construction or development that will be ongoing or in the future development that will be held in the city wetland. Okay, what triggered this study? Because the development pressure and industrialization with widespread of COVID-19 affect the sustainability situ wetland and tourism destination in Malaysia. So based on these issues, before this COVID-19, they have a lot of problems that happen in the industry, especially in the constructions, because they cannot go into the wetland, the situ, but by using this kind of method or this kind of tools, all the stakeholder can gather and integrate together by coordinate and monitoring, in terms of coordinate and monitoring to the better future. Okay. However, development in situ still fell behind, and the plan was a disarray. Okay, because it was a rapid development pressure and challenges happen here, still happen because refer to the urban development, refer to Wang et al. Refer to the Wang et al. Urban development, human activities can cause habitat loss, contribute to the extinction rate of those local species, frequently result in extinction of most local species, the lack of coordination, cohesions, which is by planner and manager. Also the lack of the innovation of technology strengthened for the strategic master planning. This is for cyber press trainer. Okay, so to enhance and protect the biodiversity that can contribute the ecotourism sector industry. So this kind of method, which is a beam, can control, can be used, can control all the activities, can control all the management happen in situ. Okay, also for the rapid population and changing lifestyle, by using this kind of method for the future, if there has any changes of the populations or lifestyle, it can be systematically be changed easily by monitor the by the government monitor all the activities. Okay, the impact can give the changing of the economic, I mean for the social, I mean for the stakeholders, for the environment and the sustainability, for the because of the richness of wetland was explored due to the degradations and rapid development. It caused the changing of environment. For the economic, in terms of the tourism itself, progressive development of the rural economy and activity would be changing rapidly because it was a changing lifestyles and value. And also for the pandemic before this and monsoon season. So due to the changes of the overall planning system, which is actually supposed can be integrated, such as with the master planning, also can integrate with the typology, which is before this for the town planner, they use the GIS system. BIM can integrate with it, and also stakeholder or the development construction that they want to construct or they want to build in the future for the sake of the tourist attractions towards community needs and biodiversity sustainability. So the new solution will be come up, which is BIM. So not much research reported on application of BIM in rapid development planning in housing, amenities in the wetland area, and flexibility method planning integrate. Because of it, flexibility for BIM, flexibility method planning integrate. So this purpose, why I do this study, because to develop strategic planning by implementing BIM in situ wetland, Terengganu, Malaysia within the tourism industry context. Okay, the objective is to identify critical strategies which are clearly defined plans and objectives for BIM implementations. For this first paper, I just touch about the critical strategies, which is how to identify the strategic management. I'm going to the strategic management process, which is a strategic objective analysis for the strategic formulations and the strategic implementation and evaluation and control towards the environment and economic and socials. Okay, and also for the sustainable planning, to manageable, to monitor and coordinate constructions, sustainable tourism for the local base community, and also for the sustainable community for the government, public and private. All of these critical strategies have to identify to implement the BIM as the integration solution for the alternative as an optimal efficiency for strategic planning for rapid development in the future. And it actually was very efficient handling multi objective functions. This is the policies and justification of the study. So refer to the Malaysian 12 plan proposals, RMK 12, 2001, 2021 to 2025. Refer for this. The economic empowerment dimension will include new source of growth, including industrial revolutions, 4.0, digital economy, integrated regional development. From these justification and policies, I identify this digital or industrial revolution, digital can be used for the future. Okay, this is the literature study which is been seen in the issues for the tourism and wetland issues for the global, and it gives the impact for the global and Malaysia's. Refer to the policies before this. I've been and also for the city Terengganu, focus on the housing, planning, and also the environments. For the methodology, I identify before we going to collect the data, I'm identify through the strategies through the literature review. This is the following focus on qualitative research about BIM practice. The previous study of the strategic for BIM implementation, which is I code as S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6 until S7. This is the 7 strategies I already identified from the literature review. For the S1 is the strategies about the clearly defined plans and objective if we use the BIM and financial support. For BIM implementation, we need the financial support and capabilities and skills for implement the BIM, collaborative working to execute it, and S5, managing changes and risks in projects, S7, organizational and delivery measures, government policy and incentive. These 7 scopes and strategies I already identified in the previous sources. So the data analysis using the thematic analysis carried out using the NVivo software by inductive approach, which is from the view, opinion, knowledge, experience, values, the research expertise, and is derived from the literature review that I have been identified before. Okay, so it's about its expertise. I've been conducted the interview with 8 of the expertise with the different backgrounds for the perception of interview expertise toward the needs to adopt BIM for strategic planning in wetland. So the blue one is the mixed response. The light blue for the negative and the green for the positive response. And I will and this is the result focus on the need and this is the saturation of the intersection result between of the among of the expertise, which is the X2, S3, and S7. S2 we can see here, which is financial support to adopt BIM software for each level of construction team or consultant in order to maximize the value of project delivery. It's all about the financials. And S3 is about the capabilities and skill will be developed by provide BIM training workshops for the construction team or consultant that will be organized by professionals and BIM trainer or about the capabilities and skills. And the last one is the S7, which is the formulate government policy to implement BIM at the very beginning stage, and incentive should be given for the wetland development project in order to increase values in tourism industries. These three intersections for the saturations results already identified during the interview that was transcribed by the audio was transcribed by NVivo, and the result indicates the level of expertise perceptions, okay, towards the flexibility of the beam in the planning and development. For the conclusion and recommendations, by the way, BIM has wide application actually, but it's and great attention in academia and also for the project experience challenges. But this case study summarize BIM planning strategies is still ongoing, and the findings are based on the current data collected in future validation of data needed to sustain the wetland tourism, okay, by using the building formation modeling itself. So there will be the future research to the BIM modeling itself. Then it will be close the gap between the previous research and a highly integrated tool to integrate the planning platform for the future. For the sake of the tourism industries. And the recommendation for this research is in the integrated factors indicator checklist is regulations permitting, which is using GIS, and preliminary design and plan by using BIM. This is for the recommendations. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Siti Nur Hidayatullain.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Quite interesting topics regarding about the BIM for tourist attraction in Stew. Nama lebih kurang dengan
Balkis.
Balkis. Okay, sama you ke macam mana?
Yeah, sama you.
Alright, quite interesting. Alright, ada soalan daripada Muhammad Nazrin. Dia tanya, what is your preferred BIM software to be used for the same study?
Preference software.
Yes.
This is for BIM. It have a lot of the software here there. Okay, one of it is the architecture Revit, engineering Revit, and map MEP, and etc. Okay, it also can be this kind of software can be integrated with the typology software, which is have been used by town planner, which is GIS. Revit can attach for this. So all the documentation, all the data will be integrated, and of course we can coordinate and control, also monitor by visually or via this one via online.
All right. Yep. Got another question from Cik Anas. The question is, dia kata it's very informative presentation. The question is, what is the suggestion that be done from the perspective of sustainability?
What have been
suggestion?
Okay, yeah. Suggestion. Okay, I suggest in terms of sustainability, it come to the at very beginning, as I mentioned before, which is the government should be take over. Okay, so the government should be do the guidelines, which is all of the private sector or the public sector or tourism itself and community can gather by using this technology, by using this BIM. So at the very beginning lah, I suggest by implement uh, the what we call it uh, uh, the what is it
Guys.
yes they were I forgot.
All right. Thank you very much for the answer. Hope Encik Anas dan Encik Muhammad Nazrin dapat sedikit sebanyak daripada apa yang telah dijelaskan oleh Siti Nur Hidayatul Ain. Thank you very much, Siti.
Okay.
The brilliant presentation. So next, we goes to the fourth presenter about queer humanities, Mr. Abdul Walid Ali. Ada? Abdul Walid Ali? Oh, alright. Okay. Abdul Walid Ali akan present regarding about the title of theatre space in Malaysia, issue in limited access for public transport mobilities. For the 20-minute times yang diberikan, so jemput Mr. Abdul Walid Ali. Silakan.
Thank you. So I'm sharing the slide. I think everybody can see the slide. All right. So very good morning to everybody who attending the conference today. So my topic will be theatre space in Malaysia, issues in limited access for public transport mobilities. So when we talk about Malaysia and theatre, so we're going to introduction first. More theatre buildings are built in order to accommodate the needs of people to enjoy live performances art. Istana Budaya is Malaysia National Theatre and it is located at Jalan Tun Razak and Tiga Wangsa area. Other important theatres building in Malaysia are Panggung Bandaraya, Auditorium Dewan Bandaraya Kuala Lumpur, Petaling Jaya Performing Arts Centre, Damansara Performing Arts Centre and Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre. Some performance stage are built in a building such as Damansara Performing Arts Centre, where it's located in Empire Damansara, and Auditorium Dewan Bandaraya Kuala Lumpur in Dewan Bandaraya Kuala Lumpur building. The research study will focus on public transport availability to attend a show at a performing art space. Show types and their target audience also will be discussed. So when we talk about performing art space, Panggung Bandaraya was our national space before, our national theatre space, our national theatre area, which is located in the center of Kuala Lumpur. And then somewhere in 1999, government has built Panggung Bandaraya. Panggung Bandaraya is the previous name for Istana Budaya. So Panggung Negara is the first Panggung Negara built in what we call that, Jalan Tun Razak, and now changed name to Istana Budaya. So now Istana Budaya has been our national theatre. Okay. So this is a literature review that I found from other research done in overseas. So however, the problem with this research is the limitation for this research is when I wanted to do this research, there is no what we call that, proper research about public transport. But one research, but most of the writing is done in a paragraph. I mean, most of the text, most of the research is done in a paragraph in a journal. And the latest one is in 2001 by Tam Tu Lang Kul. This one is the closest one that I can find for my research. So let's go to the literature review. Royal National Theatre is the most accessible theatre in London because of its convenient location, which is just a few minutes away from South Bank of Thames, or the venue's seemingly unnoticeable proximity to other public transport links. So this one is done in one paragraph in Kelleher's research. Kelleher states that Royal National Theatre is the best theatre in London because other public spaces in London, they need to walk more than 3 minutes. So another one is car will be a cheaper transport to watch theatre in some occasions, such as preferable for 2 or more people with a 60-year-old who are going together. So in this case, when a person is older, more than 60-year-old, and more than 2 people going for a show in a group, they will prefer using car. Serious consideration should be given to private hire coaches for parties to the theatre to cater the lack of public transport that may constitute a problem. Another one is Thai audience. This one done in Thailand. Thai audiences believe that the public transport accessible location is not really important for viewing a show where it is only covering 7.2%, whereas the interesting show covers 18.8% of informers. So in order to watch performance, the most important thing that audience, this is based on research by Tam Tu Langkul. He said that in Thailand, they will prefer if the show is good or not. So that's the main reason why they are going to watch a performance. Methodology, in order to do this research, I'm doing qualitative research by reading journals and books. And after I'm doing the journal and books, I find what is the best way to do research. And I limited the what we call that, the data space that I wanted to do research based on location, demographic, who are watching the show, and what are show that they will perform in certain spaces. So in order to do this research, 4 spaces I have what we call that, a map in this research. And these four spaces, I think, good to do in this research, good to put in the research, because these 4 stages, 4 spaces, they have different audience, they have different demographic, and they have different story to tell. So go to our findings, show and their audience members. So Istana Budaya, our national theatre. Show types in Istana Budaya are mostly musicals, national laureates texts, children theatre, high cost production, international production, and traditional theatre. So example of the show are Putri Gunung Ledang, P. Ramlee musical, Uda dan Dara. Uda dan Dara is national laureates text, Upin dan Ipin, the musical, and Siti the Alam Fantasy. Factor contributes for people to go to do this kind of show in Istana Budaya is to maximize technology at Istana Budaya. So for your information, Istana Budaya is the most advanced technological space in Malaysia. So they have a lot of technology. They have moving stages. They have very good quality sound system. Another one is national identity, and more audience members with different background can come to the show because of this type of show. A very simple text and enjoyable text, so that they will cater from children until what we call that, until senior citizen. And then Panggung Beraya, they will cater traditional theatre, musicals, and realism play. Most shows at Istana Budaya, they don't perform realism because realism play, for most people, it is quite uninteresting. So example for Panggung Budaya, Mat the musical, Bangsawan. This one is done from 2000, from year 2000 until today. They have this what we call that, Bangsawan series in Panggung Budaya. So if some people wanted to see Bangsawan, the original Bangsawan and the modern Bangsawan, they can watch it at Panggung Budaya with the cost of 5 ringgit for each show. And factor of tribute for this kind of show is technology, more depth of space to explore bigger set design. Another one is traditional arts sustainability. So government, they have provide this space to be one of the space in Malaysia to what we call that to sustain the traditional art, to sustain the form of traditional art. So this another show. Another theatre space is KLPAC, Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre. Show types in Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centres are musicals, children theatre, international production, contemporary production, English-oriented audiences, public awareness, and hybridity of modern and traditional arts. So example of the show are Short and Sweet, Shakespeare's dramas, Mental Health Show, and Kebaya Jazz. So if you can see the Kebaya Jazz, I think you can understand that Kebaya Jazz is hybridity of modern and traditional arts in performing arts. And factor of tribute demographic are higher status viewers. Most of them are Bangsa Bubble people. More space for experimentation. Damansara Performing Arts Centre, they are providing dance, contemporary alternative production, and public awareness shows. So example of the show are Ringkasan Shakespeare, Macbeth, and then Came Spring. And then Came Spring is an Afghanistan shows. So performers are from Afghanistan and they're showing it at Damansara Performing Arts Center. So demographic are higher status viewers, so more space for experimentation. Location and public transport accessibility. Istana Budaya or National Theatre, location is at Jalan Tun Razak, Tiga Bangsa. Public transport, if you wanted to go to Istana Budaya, is LRT Kelana Jaya Line, LRT Ampang Line, Seri Petaling, Tiga Bangsa. Bus 202, Hub Wiradamai, Bus 250, Lebuh Ampang. So accessibility, the problem with this place is we need to walk or take a cab from the closest bus stop or train station. And it is around 10 to 20 minutes. If you walk from LRT, Titi Wangsa, you will need to walk 20 minutes, and it is very dangerous because we need to walk in the highway. So the walking space is not really safe for people to go walking from Titi Wangsa to National Theatre. People may choose to drive because of this factor. Panggung Budaya Jalan Raja at Jalan Raja Kuala Lumpur. The public transport is LRT Kelana Jaya, Masjid Jamek, and this is the best we call that public transport accessibility since you will need only 3-minute walk from the closest train. Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre at Jalan Sultan Azlan Shah Sentul. So basically it is in Sentul, so you need to use commuter Sentul. 7-minute walk from the closest train. It is quite far. However, they give you something which is opportunity to look at historical and art site, which is Sentul Depot. So during you walk to Istana to KLPAC, you can see Sentul Depot, a very wonderful place to see, and you can feel it is safer because you're not walking in a highway. Damansara Performing Arts Center, it is located in Empire Damansara, Petaling Jaya. So in order to go there, we need to use bus T810 PJ Trade Center and MRT Kajang Line, Mutiara Damansara. So from the bus, 2-minute walks from the closest bus stop and 20 minutes walking from MRT, the closest MRT Mutiara Damansara. So most of the viewers, they prefer driving car to go for this place. Issues for these spaces are theatre location did not provide other people's needs. And Istana Budaya is the worst place Istana Budaya has the worst public transport accessibility, whereas another problem with Istana Budaya is there is no place to buy goods nearby. There is no supermarket nearby. There is no marts nearby. But they have what we call that restaurant owned by Istana Budaya, and however the problem is they don't have what we call that supermarket nearby. Safety, walking from the last train station to Istana Budaya is dangerous. So working area is not properly done. KLPAC provides heritage site before arriving theatre space, which is safer. Theatre space in a building, Damansara Performing Arts Center is an exclusive mall. The problem with Damansara Performing Arts Center is it's not really suitable for lower economy viewers. So most of the viewers for this space is called it higher status viewer, and more they have more call it more money to watch a show. And shows at KLPAC and Damansara Performing Arts Center are higher compared to other spaces. So conclusion, so easy access to public transport may grow more viewers for a theatre show. Istana Budaya is difficult to access and make people view the space as an elite audience area. And I think this is problematic because Istana Budaya is our national theatre. It should be a space for people which to cater more viewers, like what people done in London. They have National Theatre in London. The cost of production, the cost of what we call that to view a production in National Theatre in London is slightly cheaper from most of the production outside there. And the best space with public transport access and environment is Panggung Bandaraya. And in order to do this research, more research about performing arts space and audience is needed to be discussed further. So, like I said before, when I doing this research, looking for literature reviews, the closest one is from the Thailand, but most of the research done talking about public transport accessibility in public transport and something like that is not really discussed by researchers, and it is discussed in some one or two paragraph only. So I think this is novel research and interesting to discuss further in the future. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Walid, for the good presentation. And then myself also is one of the prominent theatre.
Cool.
But I realize the problem in KL about public transport. So itulah yang menyebabkan kurangnya orang akan pergi ke tempat tu lah. Saya rasa this is a good topic to be discussed further. Alright, so kita ada soalan di sini daripada Encik Anas. Dia kata interesting topic. This is just a suggestion for the methodology. It is better to Mr. Walid can do a SLR, systematic literature review method.
Oh, cool. All right, thank you, Mr. Anas. I think I will use that method to find more.
Saya merasakan this is a good topics sebabnya kita melihat dalam konteks untuk melihat teater, kemenjadian teater di Malaysia ini. Dia bukan pasal dari segi promotion ni kan, kemudahan transport facilities di situ lepas tempat makan apa semua, orang akan berkira-kira untuk nak pergi ke tempat tersebut. Sebab dari segi harga tiket, I think tak ada masalah. Sebab ada yang high cost, second cost dan sebagainya kan. So I think just a suggestion daripada saya je lah, just opinion. Saya melihat maybe any action daripada local authorities about this issue, Mr. Walid.
For the time being, we have call that some of people that some of the people, some of the viewers come from what we call that. I mean, universities. They have asked Kementerian Pengangkutan, something like that, to what we call that, to do something about this problem. However, the thing about this space is most Malaysian they have cars, so that's the thing that they counter us. So most Malaysian they have cars, so you just use car to go to these public spaces, and I think this is this my assuming right now. I think people don't really see how what we call that theatre give money to Malaysian economy, since theatre has what we call that a lot of grants. Another thing, theatre have a lot of grants. People don't really know about it. Another one is they have a lot of contribute a lot of things in economy in Malaysia. I think they provide about for performing arts only, they provide about 20% of Malaysian economy. So it is very big amount of money come to Malaysian government. However, when we talk about what government has done for this thing, they said that we have provided you call it space. We have provided you public transport, bus, and something like that. However, the problem is we need we call it developer who has some ideas to make, like, at least for Istana Budaya, for example, at least a mart or what we call that, area for people to buy things, like commercial area, so that we can do something from them. But the problem with Istana Budaya also is it is very far from other what we call that uh, uh, houses, so residential area. So when it is far from residential area, the need for people to build like commercial area, commercial buildings is not really in demand. So that's the thing. When I asked some people in Kementerian before, so that's they said, unless we have a very big project like T-Rex, a very mega project somewhere around, they can consider that thing, because ROI for government is not really what we call that not really good. I mean, the ROI is not really profitable for government if we build the what we call that, the residential, not residential, the commercial area nearby, since they have problem with Royal Theatre in Shah Alam. It is not really used by people, but it is used by what we call that, Sepatu Reunion right now. Sepatu Reunion use the space for these shows, but it is not really used by the theatre practitioner. It's not really used by concerts. It's not really used by musicians. So people still wanted to go to Kuala Lumpur. So that's another problem with building theatre space. I think uh, authorities, they are looking at ROI side, how it can give their profitable things.
Profit, yeah. Agree. All right.
So
Thank you very much, Walid, for the brilliant answer. So, hope Cik Anas dan yang lain daripada soalan tadi menjawab apa yang telah dipertanyakan. Thank you very much again, Mr. Abdul Wali, for the good presentations. All right, we go to the next presenter. Is about safe and green city. Kita jemput Professor Madya Dr. Turaya Muhammad. For the topic is analysis of office rent determining based on the Spearman correlations. So, tanpa berlengah masa, kita jemput Muhammad Harusani. All right. Silakan for the 20-minute times.
Can you see the slide?
Yep.
Okay, this is unexpected. Okay, thanks to our moderator, Dr. Osman. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. I meet all the participants. And today, my name is Muhammad Harsani, student from UiTM Sri Iskandar. And today I'm going to present our preliminary research actually entitled The Analysis of Officer and Determinants Based on Payment Correlation. So without further ado, let's get started. So as an introduction, I would like to highlight our main focus for today. So generally speaking, we are focusing on the office markets, which is office building technically. And office markets are frequently associated with a good investment prospect, becoming the primary focus for both domestic and foreign investors. And investing in office building was actually quite lucrative and can be very profitable. Even drawing a lot of capital, but the returns are frequently very substantial. Like I said just now, it has become a centralizing for the investors to invest their income. Okay, and hence these investors has a high reliance on a few presumptions of office market dynamics, and it has become a key value driver to accurately anticipate the future profitability of the income projections. So due to these problems, we see it as one of the problems since the nature of the office building itself, it was very difficult to analyze due to the heterogeneity of the property. And the challenges, there is a challenges in the determination of the rental values due to the heavy dependence on market data. And the rentals somehow, sometimes might be determined on market, but it may not always equate with the valuation of property. Plus, like I said just now, since these investors have a heavy reliance on this property market, so sometimes it is unreliable, right? So plus in analyzing the JPPH market data, it sometimes lead to incorrect assumptions. So due to that, we tend to came out with a single objective for this paper, for which to analyze the relationship between the office rent determinants and the rental rates in Kuala Lumpur office markets, right? So basically, we are focusing on what are the factors that will affecting the rental rates of the office building in Kuala Lumpur city centre area. Okay, this is a bit review on an office rent. So generally speaking, an office building, I think you all know, it is a type of commercial building that has spaces primarily intended for the office purposes. All right, but according to National Property Information Center, it can be divided into three groups, which is the retail office, and the other one is small office, home office, and the last one is the purpose-built office, which is our main focus. We'll be focusing on the purpose-built office only. And a general term of the rent, so what is rent actually? It is the estimated amount for which an interest in real property should be leased on the valuation date between will lessor and will lessee. Okay, it is just a general term of what we are focusing on. Okay, next is a little bit review on an office rent determinant. So what is actually these determinants? In other words, we are going to use this term because it looks more scientific. But it also known as the factors that affecting the office building. So according to a single research we have discovered from the artist named Dibera, his name is Anil Kumar Bera. So this study actually emphasize on the factors that could affect the rentals of office building, actually the determinants, the factors, and it can be classified into 5 different factors, which are the locational, the physical factors, the macroeconomics, the lease details, and the certifications. And as for the locational, it was about the location of the building itself. Either it is located near to the city center, the building frontage, to the distance of the building towards the front road. As for the physical, it involves the physical structure of the building, such as the building appearance and design, and building age, maybe. And the macroeconomics, we are going to use some of the macroeconomic variables used to analyze the property market, for example, like the gross domestic product, the inflation rate, And as for the lease details, it involves some of the details between the lessor and the lessee, such as the tenancy agreement, the tenancy duration, the rentable area of a building, and lastly is the certification that was awarded for the building, for example, like the green certs and the MSC status of the building. Okay, this is the conceptual framework of office rent determinants that I have discovered from previous empirical analysis. So like I said, we have divided into the 5 major groups, which are the locational, macroeconomics, the lease details, the physical factors, the certifications. So under the big group, we have the determinants that was included in this research. So actually, we are going to identify what are the statistical relation between these determinants and the rental rates for office building in Kuala Lumpur city center area, right? So this is our main focus. The scope of study actually, we will focusing on the Kuala Lumpur city center area. As you can see from the small map, the Kuala Lumpur city center comprises of the Jalan Ampang, Jalan Sultan Ismail, Jalan Bukit Bintang. We choose this area because of the high concentration of the office building were located in this area, and it has become the main interaction for these investors to invest the buildings, the office buildings in this kind of area, right? So as for the methods, we actually use lots of analysis in this study. The first one is we are going to collect the data from the secondary data from the JPPH, from the Department of Statistics Malaysia, and I also do some of the observation checklists, all right, for the data collection purposes. And we are going to analyze first by studying the normality of our data set by implementing the Shapiro work test, okay, because by doing this analysis, we are going to determine what are the methods we're going to use next. All right, and next we are going to analyze the descriptive analysis, which is we are studying the patterns of our data by studying the maximum values, the minimum values, the standard deviation, the mean, and other than that. And lastly is the inferential analysis, in which we are focusing on the correlation value. Other than that, it is called the statistical relation that existed between these mentioned determinants and the rental rates. All right. So aside from that, this is the table of our main focus for this study, in which we are going to ignore the positive and negative signs, in which we are going to focus on what are the statistical relation in terms of the strength level. For example, like either the relation is perfect, the strong, moderate, or weak, or no correlation, right? So this is the results of our normality test. So it's actually depicted here that our data is not normal, all right? So as you can see, the dotted line provided on the diagonal line here, the data points were straight away and deviate from the line. So it was actually describes that our data is not normal. Okay, we used it by using the Shapiro work test. All right, so due to that, we are going to use the Spearman correlation. Because of what? Because our data is not normal. So that is the justification on why we are doing to use the Spearman correlation. And next one is the descriptive statistical analysis. As you can see, the minimum values of rent transacted from the data that we have collected, it was all about RM 20 ringgit per square meters. It was the lowest transacted price. As for the maximum, it was about RM 959 ringgit. Okay, actually the maximum price, it was about RM 3,000 ringgit actually per square meters. But after we removing all the outliers, it considered that figure as an outliers, because only a single building had that kind of rents. All right. Next, we are going to identify what are the statistical relations between these mentioned determinants in the study and the rental rates. All right. So as for the locational determinants, we have identified that most of the determinants provided here show that a very weak correlation. That is signifies that these locational factors doesn't have a significant effect actually on the rental rates in Kuala Lumpur city center area. So other than that, we can see from the macroeconomics variables, macroeconomics determinants that has showed that as from the resulted finding here, that this also show that inflation, the GDP, the office employment not having a good relations towards the rental rates in Kuala Lumpur. But it was different when you study about the physical structure of the building itself. For example, like building appearance and design and amenities and in-house services. As depicted here, it shows that a moderate relation, and the a very quite good relation with amenities and in-house services that highlights that maybe rental rates might be determined based on these determinants. So next we will go through to the lease details. As we can see, the rentable area provides a moderate correlation also. It was undeniable because once we going to rent an area, we are going to analyze the rentals based on how much we are renting the spaces, right? So the last one is the certifications. We can see that actually when a building, an office building, have a green certification, the rentals would be higher. Okay, same goes to FSC status, but it doesn't shows a good correlation. But as for Green said, we almost achieve a moderate correlation. So as a discussion, I would like to highlight that amenities and in-house services, the building appearance and designs, and rentable areas is the best variables, is the best determinants in order for us to identify the rental rates in Kuala Lumpur city centre area. But I do want to signify that this is just a statistical relation, not a significant test. So it was statistically have a good relation, the amenities in-house services with the rental rates. But overall, the determinants that were provided here shows that every determinants have a very weak correlations to the rental rates in Kuala Lumpur office market. So lastly, actually I want to highlight the significance of this study. It was significant as my preliminary study actually, because on the next paper we are going to compare this technique, these results generated by the SPSS software with the AI, the artificial intelligence. We are going to develop a model and comparing and triangulate these methods and came up with a forecasting model. And lastly, this research might be significant and assist academic missions for model development, aids in forecasting and model development. So I think that's all from me. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Muhammad Harusani, for the interesting topic regarding about the analysis of office rental mind based on Spearman correlations. Very interesting. So we go to the floor. Any question from the floor, please? All right. Maybe no question for time being. Maybe dia orang sedang berfikir tu nak tanya soalan apa. What is the best question to Harusani? Alright. So, manakah masa kita agak cemburu, just in case sekiranya ada di antara audiens ataupun presenter yang nak tanya, maybe kita boleh terus. Kalau tak ada soalan buat masa ni, maybe right after this kalau ada nak tanya kepada Harusani, maybe boleh terus direct ke phone dan WhatsApp dan sebagainya. Alright.
Okay,
Thank you very much again to Muhammad Harusani for the best presentation and very clear, loud and clear. Right. Thank you very much. So we go to the first presenter tadi, Muhammad Afiq bin Muhammad Muhyiddin. Ada di sini? Sebabnya tadi dia the first presenter dia tak masuk, so mungkin dia ada technical problem, dan dia ada wakil tu daripada Muhammad Afiq yang nak present. So, alright. Kita tunggu beberapa second. Kalau tak ada respon, kita end of session kita pada hari ini. All right. So, thank you very much. Manakah tidak ada respon daripada Muhammad Ahmad Afiq bin Muhammad Muhyiddin ni. So, kita end of session pada hari ini. Maybe daripada pihak organizer, sekali lagi ada nak ambil gambar ke dan sebagainya. Cik Anas. Tutu Raya, any question? Ada nak tanya ke? Just tepuk tangan je. Alright, dia kata we already take the pictures. So on behalf of the organizer of Iegresafe, ucapkan ribuan terima kasih to all the presenter today for the brilliant sharings from green topics. Kita pergi ke Kinta Walks and then ke Steel Wetland, kita terbang ke Terengganu, patah balik, and then kita go to the theatre, and then the lastly for the analyze of rental office in KL. So kesemua itu adalah topik-topik yang menarik yang kita dapat share pada hari ini, dan mungkin ada sekiranya ada sebarang soalan yang nak dikemukakan, boleh terus kepada pihak organizer dan urus dia. And then untuk on behalf myself as a moderator today, sekiranya ada kekurangan tersilap bahasa daripada saya, mohon ampun dan maaf. And then sekali lagi ribuan terima kasih kepada presenter yang sudi berkongsi idea, pengalaman untuk program kita yang terakhir pada hari ini. Thank you very much again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.